Look, Mozambique is facing a perfect storm: election violence, political betrayal, and a haunting reminder of its very dark past. Why is the South African development community and the whole region ignoring Mozambique's cries for help? Let's dive into this very important story that deserves your and my attention. And fast forward to the election that was conducted on October 9th. The people of Mozambique were very optimistic on the election and the results that were going to be announced. They hoped for a fair and peaceful process. But look what happened over the past 2 weeks. After the elections were conducted, the election results were declared, and Frelimo's Daniel Chapo was declared the winner with nearly 5 million votes. That was over 70%. He is supposed to be Felipe Nyusi's successor, both in the country and the party's leadership. Second was Venancio Mondlane of the optimistic party Podemos. He was distant second with slightly over a million votes. The historical resistance party Renamo came in third with less than half a million votes. The election had a lot of reports of irregularities, voter intimidation, and claims of election interference by Frelimo and the security agencies. And this interference has led to widespread dissatisfaction both of Podemos and Renamo, who have now called for protests all over the country. And they say that Frelimo manipulated the results to maintain its grip on power.
Mondlane has meanwhile declared himself as the real winner. The 50-year-old has secured a strong base among young Mozambicans by being very active on social media. He has called on Mozambicans to hold nationwide demonstrations against the election results through social media. He has been rallying people to come together for a final march in Maputo on Thursday that he promises will be the day of Mozambique's freedom.
These claims have intensified protests with clashes erupting in Maputo and all other major cities between opposition supporters and the security forces. Police officers have been deployed all over the streets of Maputo and other major cities. And these clashes have led to multiple injuries, and fatalities have also been experienced.
At least 11 people have been killed and more than 50 injured by security forces.
Police have been lodging tear gas and bullets on peaceful protesters, and this has only deepened the political crisis that is existent in Mozambique. This violence in Mozambique can be traced back to the long-standing political tensions and deep-seated mistrust between the ruling party Frelimo and the opposition party Renamo. And this is not just on the leaders, it has also built a lot of mistrust among the citizens. And remember, Frelimo has been in power since independence, and it has over the years been accused of manipulating the electoral process and maintaining dominance, not just in the presidential seats, but also in the assembly seats. In addition to the political situation, Mozambique is already dealing with a violent insurgency in the northern Cabo Delgado province. The insurgency is led by an armed group affiliated with the ISIS. It has over the years complicated the security situation in Cabo Delgado, and now government resources are confined and stretched thin in trying to maintain peace all across the country with the current protests. In 2021, Rwandese soldiers were sent into that region to try and solve the situation. That has not changed, and the situation is far from over. Now back to politics. Let's talk about Frelimo. The Mozambican Liberation Front, which is called Frelimo, was founded in 1960s as a liberation movement to try and fight against the colonialists, the Portuguese colonial rule. And Frelimo in 1975 successfully led Mozambique into self-rule, transitioning from a Marxist-Leninist group to a democratic socialist party over the years. Now you can see the linkage. Over the decades, Frelimo has produced influential leaders like their the first president of Mozambique, Samora Moises Machel, and the immediate former president, who is Felipe Nyusi, who has just exited office. And today, Frelimo holds a significant power in Mozambique. is now seen as an established political force and a resistance to change. Now, the oldest opposition, Renamo, or also called the Mozambican National Resistance, has a very different origin from as compared to Frelimo. Renamo was initially formed as an anti-communist rebel group in the 1970s. You can see they cannot connect the dots now during the Cold War, with support from Rhodesia, uh, that is Zambia, Zimbabwe, and the apartheid era of South Africa. Brought a civil war between 1977 and 1992, which ended with the peace agreement with Renamo back in 1992. Renamo was led for decades by Afonso Dhlakama, but after his death, Renamo is now facing a lot of difficulties in trying and establishing their political dominance that was there. And now it is being led by Osofo Momade, who has tried to maintain the party's relevance despite facing a lot of challenges. And you can see from the past election, they were number three. And Renamo is now trying to appeal to the Mozambicans who feel like Frelimo has monopolized power for far too long. But Renamo's history as a rebel group still impacts its political influence, that it doesn't have a lot of trust for the people. Now, Podemos, which is now the second most popular party in the National Assembly, is just a young party founded in 2009. It was established as a center-left alternative to the dominant Frelimo and the opposition party Renamo. The party's primary focus is promoting democratic governance and human rights. And the approach they use is one of social justice, trying and advocating for the people and solving situations for people who are in poverty, trying bringing equality and fighting corruption. It was formed as a response to the perceived lack of political pluralism and inadequate representation within the traditional major parties, giving an alternative for Mozambicans to choose people of a different mindset. And despite it being and the newest party was able to get 31 out of 250 seats in the National Assembly. And the other party is the Mozambican Democratic Movement, or MDN, which is led by was led by David Simango, the former mayor of there, after a split from Renamo. It's just a subsidiary of Renamo. Though it has gained a lot of support in some areas, it has not proven to be a major contestant for the presidential majority seats in the National Assembly due to limited resources and other challenges. And Podemos now is trying and proving to be not just another horse in the race, but are a force to reckon with and a party that can easily produce the leadership of Mozambique. And now the challenges that have been faced in Mozambique after the elections are brought about by both Renamo and Podemos. And the insurgency in the north trying the situation is highlights a need for dialogue, transparency, and a commitment to democracy to try and stabilize the country. And what do you think about the Mozambican political landscape at the moment and the current unrest? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more news from all over Africa and Mozambique. We're keeping the situation updated to you. I'll see you next time on Afri.